Have you ever looked up at the sky and wished you could fly like a bird or soar through the clouds like an eagle? Have you ever dreamed of being free from the limitations of the ground and experience the world from a whole new perspective? Well, in today's story, we meet a young elephant who shared the same dream. His name was Taro, and he didn't just want to walk through rivers, pull down branches, or play with mud like the other elephants. No, Toro's heart soared high above the trees, as high as the birds in the sky. Every morning when the sun peeked over the tall trees, Toro would stand by the river and watch the colorful parrots squawk and swoop between the branches, or the majestic eagles circle high above the jungle. With wide eyes, he would whisper to himself, "Oh, if only I could fly like them, see the world from a different angle, feel the wind beneath my own wings." The monkeys that swung from branch to branch would erupt in loud laughter. An elephant flying? Ha ha! It's impossible, they would say, shaking the branches with their giggles. The lions lounging lazily in the warm sun would join in with a deep chuckle. Your ears might be big, Toro, but they aren't wings. Even the wise old tortoise that had seen many seasons come and go would shake his wrinkled head and say, "Being an elephant is good enough, Taro. Don't waste your time on silly dreams." But Toro couldn't help it. His dream to fly was as big as the sky itself, so he decided to ask the birds for help. He approached the parrots with their bright feathers and chirpy songs and asked, "Dear parrots, could you teach me how to fly? I want to flap my own wings and touch the clouds." The parrots tilted their heads and stared at Taro with their beady eyes. After a moment, one of them said, "Well, you do have big ears, just like the mala bush that sways in the wind. Maybe those can be your wings." So the parrots took Taro to the highest tree and taught him how to move his ears back and forth like wings. They showed him how to jump off the tree with spread out ears to gain some height. But no matter how hard Taro tried, he could only hop a few inches off the ground before landing with a loud thump. Disappointed, he walked away, his ears drooping like wilted flowers. Next, he went to the majestic eagles that lived on the mountaintops. Maybe they could help him. The eagles were initially amused by Toro's request, but after seeing his clumsy attempts at flapping his ears, they too burst into laughter. "Your ears are far too heavy to be wings, silly elephant," they cackled. But one kind eagle noticed the sadness in Toro's eyes and said, "Listen, Toro, maybe you don't need big wings to fly. Flying isn't just about flapping wings. It's also about riding the wind and using air currents to stay aloft. Come with me and I'll show you." The eagle took Toro to the highest peak where the wind was strong and steady. It showed him how to position his body to catch the wind and how to use his momentum to stay airborne. But even with the eagle's help, all Taro could do was take small hops. Determined to achieve his goal, Taro started spending his days climbing up hills and jumping down, flapping giant banana leaves that he tied to his legs. At first, he just made the leaves flutter, but slowly he began to get the hang of it. He could almost feel the wind beneath the leaves and the sun on his face, as if he were really flying. Of course, each jump ended with a big thud that shook the ground and made the rabbits scatter, but Taro didn't care. He had a goal and he wouldn't give up until he achieved it. One evening, as the sun was setting and the sky was filled with vibrant colors, Taro sat sadly by the river, watching a flock of birds fly overhead. "Why are you so sad, Taro?" a tiny voice asked. Startled, Taro looked down and saw a little firefly glowing softly near his feet. "I wish I could fly like them," Taro sighed, "but I'm just not built for it." "Maybe they're wrong," the firefly said thoughtfully. "Maybe you don't need to fly to touch the sky. Sometimes flying means lifting others higher." Taro didn't understand at first, but the firefly insisted, "You'll see, it's true." Then the firefly flew away, leaving Taro with more questions than answers. As the night wore on, the little elephant couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, thinking about the firefly's words. What did it mean to lift others higher? Was that how he could touch the sky? Just then he heard a desperate cry in the forest. A baby bird had fallen from its nest and couldn't fly back up. Without hesitation, Taro rushed to help. Carefully, he used his trunk to pick up the baby bird and place it back in its nest. The mother bird fluttered around him, chirping gratefully. And suddenly it dawned on Toro the firefly was right. Maybe lifting others higher was a way to fly. The next day, Toro noticed a family of rabbits struggling to dig a hole under a fallen log. Without wasting a moment, he rushed to their aid and pushed the log away, revealing a patch of soft earth where the rabbits could hide from the scorching sun. As the weeks passed, the dry season continued, the river shrank, and the animals suffered from thirst. One day, Taro noticed a group of birds flying listlessly overhead. They were too weak to fly long distances in search of water. Without a second thought, Toro rushed to the watering hole, scooped up some water in his trunk, and sprayed it into the air. The birds swooped down, drank their fill, and flew away, chirping happily. One afternoon, Toro noticed a troop of monkeys dangling from a tree, unable to reach a patch of juicy, ripe bananas. With a mischievous grin, he reached up, grabbed the bunch of bananas, and swung them towards the monkeys, who caught them with squeals of delight. Throughout the dry season, Taro worked tirelessly. He carried little birds on his back to safer places. He lifted logs so the rabbits could hide under their shade. He even pushed fallen trees to open paths toward fresh grass. Slowly, thanks to Taro's efforts, life returned to the forest. The animals were no longer afraid of going to sleep hungry or thirsty. The birds sang cheerfully once more, filling the sky with beautiful music. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the animals gathered together. It was time to honor Toro for his bravery and kindness. The wise old tortoise, his eyes twinkling, said, "Taro, you may not fly with wings, but you lifted us higher than the sky. You made us believe in hope again." The eagles, whose laughter had echoed through the forest, now spoke with admiration in their voices. "Toro, you have shown us that flying isn't just about wings. It's about lifting the spirits of those around you." The parrots, perched on Taro's tusks, chirped, "Toro, you truly know how to touch the sky with your kindness." And the rabbits, hiding under Taro's massive legs, squeaked, "Toro, you are the best elephant in the whole wide jungle." That night, as Taro lay under the glittering stars, the fireflies danced around him, glowing like little stars themselves. For the first time, Toro didn't envy the birds. He smiled and whispered, "Maybe this is what flying feels like." And from then on, the jungle called Toro the elephant who could fly, not because he had wings, but because he had the courage to dream and the heart to help. The end.